right, we have Amazon up to bat against my stock picking checklist to see if it passes the metrics for an investment or options trading for me. So I'm going to go ahead and share that checklist with you real fast. Feel free to screenshot it so you can follow along in this video. I'll also be dancing back and forth between this screen and the other. But the first thing that we want to know is, do we understand the company? And Amazon is a really interesting company to understand because, of course, with this company who drops off packages of stuff you ordered last night on your phone, right? And it's there the next morning. And it's this crazy, amazing business model that revolutionized retail and how we get stuff we need every day in our houses, and even specialty items. Like I bought an e-bike on there the other day, an e-scooter, and it was here in like 2 days, and it was a blast. So we know they do that, right? But they also own Whole Foods Market. They bought Whole Foods Market a long time ago, like years ago. A lot of people don't know that. They're also coming out with more grocery stores. They're doing grocery delivery now. So they are in that space in our lives. They own AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, which is something that a lot of people may not know if they're new to investing, is that Amazon has this huge corporate structure as well as the retail structure that just deals direct with consumers, like everyday people like you and me. But they also provide all these cloud services to corporations, and they are responsible for holding the streaming data that you get online when you are streaming information from certain websites. Like Netflix actually uses them as the like data center to stream their stuff. So Amazon has so many streams of business and revenue. It's a super monopoly. It's one of the biggest monopolies in the world, and they are all around the world. Like I was in France this summer, and yeah, they're in France. So they're everywhere, and in everything. And the more that you learn about Amazon, the more you realize how unstoppable they are and how they just keep gobbling up small companies and making them a part of their company, and then improving that small company to make that small company more profitable. And they are just a behemoth. So they are a monopoly. They are an industry dominator. And are they on trend? Yes, absolutely. I mean, once you start ordering on Amazon and getting stuff next day, it's very frustrating to go to another website and order something and it's not going to be there for a week. You're like, what is this? So they've changed the game. And they're very hard to compete with. Their pricing is also amazing. So that's Amazon for you. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to check the 5-year, 1-year, and 3-month charts and make sure they're all up. The 5-year is up. It's up 83%. I can say, like, if you had bought in here and had to go through this whole thing, you would have been a little frustrated. But if you bought here and rode this up, you'd be very happy. And guess who did that? Me. I started buying in around here because when a stock dips, that's a really great company, and then and the financials are there, which we'll get into next. I will buy when it's retraced to 50% of its all-time high to ride the next wing up. Okay. And I'll tell you why. That's because I knew institutions were buying into the stock, and we'll get into that later as to how I knew that. Okay, so that's the 5-year, up 83%. 1 year, up 40%. That's beautiful. 3 months, so up 4.5. So one of the things about that I always know about stocks that are loved by institutions, and Amazon certainly is one of those, which we'll get into also, is that whenever they have these dips back up off of these mountains, the stock is pretty much, it's gonna go back up towards that high. So I often play that with options trading. So I actually love seeing a chart that looks like this for options trading, because I can just move in and out of that 180 and 200 little trap that stock is in at the moment, that little pattern, and I can play that to my advantage. So this actually, when I see this, gets me really excited from that standpoint. Okay, so then we did that. So it passes metric 1, it passes metric 2. Are the gross revenue and profit up year after year? Let's look at that. So 386, 469, 513, 574, 590, 51, 66, 67, 93,103. This top line looks fantastic. It's like Amazon is growing and they know how to keep growing at like a certain, like at a nice clip. And the amount that they go up every year looks really good to me, and they keep doing it consistently. Gross profit, it is up all the time. There's a little snag here from 2021 to 2022. So if you notice, when did Amazon pull back on that 5-year chart? Do you guys want to look at that? I'm going to show you something right now. Okay. So when you have something like that happening, it will affect your stock price. And because, again, institutions come in and they look at what is, what's been happening. And so when you see them pulling out of a stock, it's because when they're looking at this background data and it doesn't really like show a strong earnings pattern, then they're like, we might not put as much money into this. The institutions are thinking that. So you can see sort of the institutions wanting to pull out there. You see how that works? It was a bit delayed here, but that could be a very good reason for it. Anyway, overall, this looks really good. 51, 66, 67. What did they do here? Did they have to invest more in their services? Did they have to develop something? I'm not really sure. I could get the bigger picture if I went down and reviewed the rest of it. But for an overview, this is perfect for me. And then you've got a gross profit of 93 and then 103. So again, this company is growing. Whatever this snag was, they're well on their path towards greener pastures. So that doesn't concern me at all. So it passes the annual. I'm going to jump into quarterlies here because I think this is a great example of quarterlies, because if you wanted to know more about the stock, it's definitely worth doing your due diligence on the quarterlies as well. So quarterlies on retail stocks are very interesting. And the reason they're very interesting is because retail stocks go through a fantastic fourth quarter because of the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and everybody buying gifts and just like buying amazing meals and all that kind of stuff. And so basically you and I go on a spending spree for the last quarter of the year. And where do we spend our money? We spend it on Amazon and Whole Foods and and the grocery store, the stuff they own and all that kind of stuff. So you will see this fantastic earnings in December. And then the first quarter of the next year, you'll see a pullback. And you're like, what happened? Like you might be, what happened? Well, what happened is their fourth quarter earnings are always freaking stellar on retail. And then it does pull back. We don't want to see it pull back much further than the number before it, though. The quarter before Christmas. That's the key here when we're evaluating this, okay? So this all looks really good, and this whole pump in the December earnings quarter is perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. We don't mind the pullback. Here, again, these numbers all look really healthy. So we're seeing up, ignore this one, even though it's up, and then this one's up from the 24. The 27 is more than 24, so we're seeing growth here. So the financials on Amazon are fantastic, all right? Do the institutions love this stock? Yes, they do. And how do I know that? Well, I know it because the only people that can pump a stock are institutions, unless it's a meme stock, and Amazon is not a meme stock. And I know that institutions are buying back into a stock when a stock pumps up $5 to $10 a share and can hold that, and then jump up another $5 to $10 a share, and then can hold that, and then another 5 to 10 and can hold that. Those are all institutions buying in on those increments, and the fact that they keep adding on and adding on and adding on is showing me they're coming in with even greater and greater confidence over time. That's how that works. If it were the opposite, right here, this was losing institutional confidence, okay? That's losing it. This is gaining it, okay? So that's how I know institutions love this stock. And I know they'll continue to trade it. And I know that they'll probably, my guess would be that this stock would be at least $225 by Christmas. Right now is July 26th. You can like maybe mark my words on that. Maybe $240 even. I don't know. But institutions will love the stock, and they'll love it in the fourth quarter, because the fourth quarter is right when they're going to make all the money. So that's kind of how that works. And then the last question on my stock checklist is, does it pay a dividend? It does not. I feel like there is a lot of pressure on Amazon someday soon to pay one. When they announce that they pay a dividend, when they do in the future, because that will be coming, the stock will soar based on that. So I actually hold a lot of Amazon stock just free and clear for that announcement for one day when it comes, and the stock will soar probably $20 a share, something like that. And then I'll start getting paid a dividend. So I'm looking forward to that day. Amazon is definitely a buy for me. It's definitely something that I trade with. And I love options trading it because it gets in these little patterns where it goes back and forth in a range of like $10, $12 for sort of like a month and a half at a time. And I can play that little up and down movement that's predictable over and over and over again for a lot of income that I can make as a trader.